Hello viewers, a very good morning wherever you are, and let us talk about important matters happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. So according to the Chronicle, the remains of King Lobengula, or the grave of King Lobengula, was located in Zambia. And let us take a look onto this story. They say for over a century it has been in the public domain that the Ndebele monarch King Lobengula disappeared soon after crossing the Shangani River. However, there is new information that he went on to live in neighboring Zambia among King Mpezeni's people in Chipata and was entombed at Sanjika Cave in line with Ndebele customs. So King Lobengula was last seen on December 4, 1893 when he rested under Mutswiri Lidudu tree soon after the famous Popo battle, during which King Lobengula's Imbizo regiment under General Mchane Khumalo killed settlers forces commander Major Alan Wilson and his fighters. Despite their superior weaponry comprising Maxim guns and cannons, Major Wilson and his forces were killed by King Lobengula's brave warriors. So this battle was fought on the shores of Shangani River and symbolized the beginning of a protracted resistance against the settler colonial regime. So since then, the reports suggested that King Lobengula vanished or disappeared. But what is happening at this moment in time is that they now believe that King Lobengula crossed over to Zambia, and they are basing their arguments on Mr. Patisa Nyati, and they say that recently he led a delegation comprising the Khumalo family and government officials to the neighboring country on a fact-finding mission, and it is believed that President Emerson Mnangagwa funded that trip. So the delegation then established that upon his arrival in Zambia, King Lobengula lived among the Ngoni people under Chief Mpezeni. From the latest information gathered, it emerged that it took the Ndebele monarch 4 months to reach Zambia after the Battle of Pupu, where he settled among King Mpezeni's people in Chitapa, about 100 kilometers from that country's border with Malawi. His escape is said to have been aided by the then chief Pashu Sianganza, who helped him cross the mighty Zambezi River. So they say that they decoyed the colonialists by killing General Magwegwe Fuyana and placed King Lobengula's artifacts on his purported grave to trick the enemy into belief that he was dead. So Mr. Nyati, on March 22, accompanied by King Lobengula's descendant, Mr. Maidad Khumalo, National Museums and Monuments of Zimbabwe researcher, Dr. Senzeni Khumalo, and Deputy Chief Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet in charge of Social Service, Reverend Paul Damasani, embarked on a fact-finding mission to Zambia. So the Zimbabwe's ambassador to Zambia, Miss Charity Charamba, and her counterpart representing the country in Malawi, Dr. Nenzi Saukweme, facilitated the delegation to meet King Mpezeni, who confirmed that King Lobengula lived with them and was buried among them. So they say that beyond Pupu, what happened to the king is that the question that we need to answer, that is the question we need to answer, said Mr. Nyati, as he chronicled how King Lobengula sought refuge among the Ngoni people. The king never disappeared but crossed the Zambezi River and settled in Chipata after 4 months and lived with the Ngoni people for 4 years. So when we arrived, they confirmed they knew King Lobengula. They told us they were disappointed because we came too late when the people who actually saw him had already passed on. King Lobengula died in 1897. And Mr. Nyati said that they established King Lobengula was laid to rest at Sanjika Cave. So this is what is happening at the moment in time, and they were shown the site where King Lobengula was buried in line with Ndebele traditions. But even when he died, the exact spot was kept as a closely guarded secret, but to some of us, that is not a problem. Some cultures will use archaeology, others will use geophysical surveys, and Africans do these things their own way, say Mr. Nyati. So the major question is, did they manage to reach the grave of King Lobengula? According to this report, they didn't get onto the grave. They were probably at a distance of about 800 meters from the grave. So this is what is very important. They say that he was buried in a cave, and they stood at a distance of around 800 meters. The major question is, were they using binoculars? How did they manage to see that indeed he was buried at this particular cave, except the fact that they were pointed out kuti ndopa akavigwa? So we'll continue to watch and see how this story is going to unfold, and we'll try to find all the facts surrounding this whole story. So it will be something very good for the Kumalo people if this grave is finally located, and the final moments of King Lobengula are actually known, and the real story is told as it is. So we'll continue to watch and see. Tell us your views and your thoughts in the comment section.